Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be with Dr. Al-Nasser. And in the previous episode, we discussed um, the supernatural phenomenon or supernatural phenomena in general, and how science cannot has limitations and cannot study or investigate in such supernatural things or in the scope of the unseen. So today we will continue to elaborate more about these points. Welcome, sir,
Yeah.
and
So,
you can start your presentation.
we were saying that you cannot actually. Why did we discuss supernatural phenomena? Because we were saying you cannot falsify Quran
Mm,
from this direction. You cannot
mm,
say that Quran is false, for example, just because it mentions angels.
or miracles. Mm,
Or miracles, because by definition, those are outside the scope of science.
mm,
Unless, of course, you say science has no scope, it's open.
mm,
And this is what I was saying. But this is not science, it is scientism. It's a
mm.
religion of science, it's not
Yeah,
scientism.
yeah.
So
That's
scientism is there. Many people refuse to even accept the idea of the existence of things which are beyond our imagination even,
mm,
and they tell you that this is rational. Of course, this is not rational, because if you start with the idea that science, that whatever exists is exactly what we see in science, and this is very absurd. Yeah, because very deep inside science we know that all these are only models. Whatever we do, all the laws, all the entities, we all the objects we investigate, they are only models of the truth. Yeah.
mm,
So scientism is actually a philosophy coming out of the wrong positivistic idea, which we
mm,
discussed in the first part.
mm,
Now, science has also in itself, in its boundaries, some singularities which are very, very similar to supernatural
mm.
phenomena. Like we were talking last time in
But
the
Big
end
Bang and
about
yeah.
the Big Bang theory says that the whole universe comes out of orange. So when someone usually when some atheist once an atheist was laughing at the idea that a stick can be turned into a serpent, and he was joking about it. So I joked with him also, because I told him, if it is irrational as you say, then it is more irrational to think that the whole universe came out of an orange.
Mm,
Yeah. You think that matter, the mass of everything was in a dimension like an orange, from an origin, even from one point. You think that the whole universe came out of this one point, and you joke about and you laugh about the idea that a stick turns into a serpent. In both cases, this is a singularity. It is not the rule, it is not nature, it is a singularity behind nature, or
but
outside the boundaries of what we call nature. They are
but by
also
but but the way
only,
by the way, Dr.
not only,
Al-Nasser, the
yes,
author of
yes.
the Big Bang, he was a scholar from the Catholic University of Leuven, and he was a theologian at the meantime. He was he was a specialist in physics, and he came from a theological background. He studied theology or something like that. This is
Yeah,
an
yeah.
ironic
There
paradox,
is a
and
reason. Yeah, there is a reason, Ahmed, why we say. I mean, the concept of singularity itself. You cannot. There cannot be science without the concept of singularity.
mm,
The modern science is built about limits and about boundaries. There are limits and boundaries.
mm,
Whatever is beyond the limit is a singularity.
mm,
Very so. Therefore, black holes are singularity per definition. Now they try to put them in another light, and they say there are some laws inside them, but this is all still pseudoscientific. For example, the whole string theory is pseudoscientific now.
mm.
So whatever is in this singularity is beyond the reach of current science. I'm not saying that it will remain like this. Maybe someday it will find an explanation, but there will be always boundary, always. The same it can be found in biology. For example, emergence of bacteria. They just there is no nothing before bacteria which leads to bacteria. Bacteria emerged like this. Emergence of human language also the same. This is the discussion we had about Chomsky. At least this is the view of Chomsky. Human language came out of nothing. So this is also a singularity. Of course, Chomsky is an atheist, and as you know, he's a my ustaz, my prof. Actually, I have been communicating with him and learning from him. Of course, he's a very big scientist, but I think he doesn't see here the real point, because he believes that the emergence of human language came out of a mutation in the brain. Okay, the mutation itself was very quick, but this is also singularity. This is also singularity. It's like the Big Bang, it's like black holes, it's like all of a sudden the emergence of bacteria, all of a sudden from nothing.
Out of a thin
So
air.
science knows a lot of black holes, a lot of singularities, which it cannot explain, and it says I cannot explain. Yeah, and this is natural science. So in natural science there are those supernatural phenomena. This is what I'm saying. So super. Of course, it doesn't go to the extent that a stick is turned into a serpent. Of course, but if we remember that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the one who is creating everything. For him, it is easy. Like creating the whole universe from a point, which is acknowledged by science in the Big Bang theory. It is even easier to convert a stick into a snake if the whole universe came out of nothing. Yeah. So coming back to the point we had, the falsification. Falsification is only possible through assertions about natural phenomena. Now, this here becomes our study has a new flavor, because here we can really scientifically investigate what is in the Quran, and we expect to find in the Quran, if the Quran is man-made, if it is a normal text, if anyone in the Middle Ages, for example, writes about medicine, what do you expect? Either if he is clever, he will write only general information, yeah, unspecific and general information. In that case, you don't find contradiction. If he speaks about things which are generally known today or at that time, there are some parts of the knowledge which remain the same. Yeah, like there is blood, like in the blood there are bones and all these type of things. Yeah, so you expect unspecific and general information. You expect similar, that the information is similar to what was known at the time of revelation. And here is precisely also a lot of junk written by Western Orientalists about the time of revelation. And if you as you know, what they wanted to show is that time of revelation cannot be in the time where the Arabs couldn't translate. Yeah,
or the place.
Or the place. Why? Just because they found information about the other scriptures and Christianity and Judaism, which were not available, where they should have been translated, because they were not available in Arabic. And here we face the same dilemma. If I find any discussion about natural phenomena, then it has to be as was known at the time of revelation. Yeah? And thirdly, we don't expect detailed description of natural phenomena unless they turn out to be false. You cannot expect someone who writes a book in the Middle Ages or before that to write explicitly about a detail in detail about natural phenomena, and it turns out to be right. Cannot be, except if if he was a scientist who had his own experiments, or he was in an environment of science, or he is representing a culture,
Mm,
a whole golden age. Yeah,
mm. Which doesn't
it
apply
cannot
to
be.
Mecca or Medina. They didn't have schools.
Which doesn't apply.
They didn't
It
have
gives the Orientalists
yeah.
another reason. It
Yeah.
gives the Orientalists another reason to shift the time. Of course,
Or the
they
place that the Quran
yeah,
that was revealed in
but
Iraq or
so
in
actually what they are doing now, and we will show that we will see that it is absurd. What they are doing is shifting the time and the place is related to this information about Judaism and Christianity. But I'm saying here that they need to do it also, try to shift also the time with respect to natural phenomena also. Because how did he know about natural phenomena? I don't think anybody is taking this seriously from these people. And this is also more and more, so they are ignoring around 51 places in the Quran where natural phenomena are described. They are ignoring this. They are ignoring this discussion because there is some ridiculousness. They ridicule the idea that the Quran is precise in describing natural phenomena. It's a very arrogant point of view. It's a very false and very stupid point of view. Because I can point, like we will be pointing now in this lecture,
So
to
this
very
show
specific information about natural phenomena, where you need also an explanation from
yeah.
where did whoever wrote the Quran brings this information. So this is exactly what we are going to see now. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
And
Now,
this shows the selectivity of the research. It's eclectic
yeah,
and
so
selective.
here, so we have now to speak about what is being done. So current models in Islamic studies attempt to relate the form to other scriptures and not dig into the content. So the first thing we have been discussing, and yeah, they speak about the style of I don't know what and the language of. Okay, what is the content? Why don't you discuss the content? So, explaining content in modern Orientalism methodically was erroneous. Methodically, because first of all, they refused the evidence from traditional Islamic sciences, which is unbelievable. I cannot believe. I mean, it's only believable. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. There is adhan here. Yeah, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. Maybe we'll have to stop like 1 minute or 2 minutes. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. لا إله لا إله إلا الله. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة والصلاة القائمة سيدنا محمد رسول الله بعث الله من مقام محمود. Okay, so first of all, they insist on the assumption that Quran's origin is similar to Old and New Testament origin, and this is the universal church thesis we were speaking about. This is the idea of Durkheim developed into Islamic studies, which is completely nonsense, of course, as we saw last time in the first part. And secondly, and this I find this really here very, very racist. And let me bluntly say this: refusing evidence from traditional Islamic sciences. I would like to think about the case or situation where you go to Germans, for example, and you tell them whatever you wrote about your own country and about your own culture is wrong, and I'm going now to write.
And it's subjective and it's not objective.
No, this is not. No, it's beyond this. It is genocidal. It is genocide. It's not. Ahmed, let us. I mean, we are doing this video here to say the truth about, or what we think is the truth about everything. These people are genocidal. Yeah? They didn't do this. I mean, most of them. There are, of course, some names, very decent people out of them, and some of them even converted into Islam. And even the guys who didn't convert, they respect Islam very much. but most of them, they were genocidal.
Mm,
And they remind me very much of what is happening now in Palestine,
mm,
because Zionists, what do they say? Palestine doesn't exist.
mm,
Yeah, they don't say we are sharing. They don't say there are some values, and no, they say they don't exist.
mm, mm,
So these people, they come also to us and say Islam didn't exist. Yeah,
mm, mm,
actually, Islam didn't exist. Everything you wrote about it, you know about it. You lived in. You lived in. It's not only that we know. It's religion is not only about knowledge. It's
but
your practice.
even if
You
if you
practice
read
this, you live this. It is
if
your ideology. It is
i- if
your
you read
view.
the introduction
So,
of the
so it,
Encyclopedia of the Quran, it's an it's in its modern edition. They say that the main aim of Orientalism, of studying Islam and Muslims, it has to do with colonialism and in
yeah,
order to know your
and this is
enemy.
why,
So
yeah, and
they
and this is why I'm here also historically. I'm writing here in the historically it's biased through political agenda. And the book of Edward Said is of course very known. Edward Said's book is actually a milestone which made the discussion about Orientalism much different. And people they are trying now to defend these genocidal people they are trying now to defend. But from the point of view, science, we are seeing this from the scientific point of view.
mm,
Refusing evidence from traditional Islamic sciences is like saying that I am a pseudoscientist per definition, because even if this evidence is from your enemy, you should accept it.
mm.
If you start telling me that evidence is refused just because Muslims have written it, then you are stupid.
And biased.
Then you are stupid. No, you are stupid. You are not only unscientific. I don't discuss with you.
Mm,
I'm not willing to discuss and to waste my time. And you know, in our own discussion, you and me, I told you that many Muslims are wasting their time.
mm,
They are wasting their time going behind every and each garbage coming out of the mouth of Hans the blind, or Henry the ill. Yeah, I joke about them, and I'm not. I'm very satirical and very disregarding to these people. I regard scientists, but people who have genocidal ideas, I mock them. I don't waste my time doing this with them, discussing my own heritage. And most of them, they don't even speak Arabic. Now, the question of Arabic language in itself, as you know, in their genocidal attempt, genocide against Islamic civilization, they tried to say there was no Arabic. And the famous Taha Hussein is one who helps them, unfortunately, within
mm.
our.
But now in the Western academia, even they don't accept these theories of the poetry, that the Jahili
but
poetry
yeah,
or the
yeah,
pre-Islamic poetry.
Ahmed, please, yani, you don't go and do hundreds of years of garbage and then come today and tell me, oh, sorry, it was wrong. You don't do this. You don't do this and expect that I treat you as a normal human being, even. Yeah, you have only one chance. Yeah, at least this is what scientists. If you, for example, suppose you want to publish something, yeah, you send it to a peer-reviewed paper.
Mm,
If you
mm,
publish, let us say, 10 papers full of garbage,
mm,
what is your chance that the 11th paper is going even to be seen by your peers?
mm, mm, mm,
Zero. I will throw it immediately in the waste paper bus because I don't have time.
mm, mm.
So they are confining themselves to pseudoscience. The level of their Arabic is so poor, it's unbelievable. It's a joke. Most of them, of course. Yeah. And then, for example, they select only very selective verses to show that they are Syrianic, or show what is this garbage.
And some of them are no
Why
scholars. They are not scholars. Like Luxembourg.
why do I
Luxembourg is
waste?
not a
Yeah, like
scholar.
Luxembourg. Like actually, this is the
Is
this.
a Lebanese, is a Lebanese guy, and
It has not to do with your origin. It is you are part of this genocidal attempt, whether you are Arab or you are of Western origin. On the other
Islamophobic.
side, you
Yeah.
will have, for example, Germans who made very big contributions, even Jews who made very big contributions. So what I'm saying here is explaining the content in modern Orientalism is pseudoscientific. It should be ignored. So I'm pleading my request to everyone who hears us. Please don't waste your time. Don't waste your time going through every garbage coming out of the mouth of these people. Why? Because of these things which we are going to see. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to do with science. And even if this science is refuting us, we have a lot to do with it. But accepting a discussion with someone who is trying to refute your ideas using science is one thing, and someone who is trying to commit genocide against you is something else. It's very different. So let's focus now on the subject matter and say, let's try to make a materialistic model. Now, this is here interesting because I put myself in the shoes of the opponent always. I call these models, as we said, science is about modeling. So I call these models rational, materialistic, RMMs of the Quran. So a materialistic model is one suggesting man-made artifact. This means that I'm trying now to explain that someone, human or a group of people made this Quran. What are the facts to consider? Yeah, what are the facts to consider? Now, these facts may be empirical belief or empirical knowledge. You will see here that I didn't go into the detail of what Muslims say about themselves. But I put actually some things, these 4 facts, you don't find any sane person who can discuss them. First of all, that early Quranic manuscripts carbon dated 20 to 40 years after the death of the Prophet ﷺ. If you tell me, as you told me, carbon dating is not really precise and so on, okay.
Because they can tell you that we found carbon dating before the birth of the Prophet.
Yeah, but I will. There are 2 problems with this view. Yeah. First, the first problem is that carbon dating is not exact but approximative. Now, if you tell me
it depends on the percentage of carbon remained in the palimpsest.
Yes, but it is reliable in approximation. It's not reliable in exact. It is not. If I make this experiment and, for example, it really dated 600 AD, I can never have 1000. Yeah, I will have maybe 650.
There are margins.
Yeah, there are margins. So the margin of error, there is within a margin of error relative certainty, because carbon dating uses decay and things which are known to be
organic
true.
component.
Yeah, it's you cannot just say, oh, it's not right. Yeah, or go to make your own hallucinations around carbon dating. And the second problem with this, if you tell me carbon dating is not reliable, then all the history is not reliable. Why do you select? Why do you tell me that carbon dating is not reliable in for example, in Islamic studies, and it is reliable in German history, for example?
Yeah,
then
it's an important tool in archaeology.
So it is an important tool. So first of all, we know now that the idea that carbon dating was a good idea, and it's a recent idea. They dated it 20, 40 years after the death of Prophet ﷺ. Secondly, the golden age of Islamic civilization started in the Abbasid era, where the translation began. So this is also a fact not contested by anyone. There is no one who will tell you there was a golden age of Arabs before that, except some lunatics, some genocidal maniacs. No one tells you that the Arabs had anything before Islam, and they will tell you The golden age began with the Abbasid era.
But
So this is the second fact.
at the late Umayyad there were a kind of translation, but personal
Yeah,
translations like Khalid ibn Yazid
yes, but what everybody
in
agrees
chemistry.
is Abbasid era, and you see here, this is late Umayyad. It's not.
Ah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah. So the beginning of let's say the beginning of Abbasid era, the beginning
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Abbasid era. Let's say, but there is no one who will tell you, for example, like in Mecca there was a golden age before that. Yeah,
Yeah, no, 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 no. It's
there is,
impossible.
or before the,
It's
yeah,
impossible. Yeah,
or the garbage that it was not Mecca at all. Yeah, and of course there are some people who are
yeah,
I
yeah.
found some YouTube
Tom
recently,
Holland.
some,
Tom Holland there,
yeah.
yeah.
In any case, so this is also another fact. So the first fact is the carbon dating. Second fact is the golden age of Islam. Third, and very important, I will use it here. Jurisprudence schools they were created before the golden age.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Abu Hanifa and Malik and so on in the late Umayyad Khilafah.
And we have
And
the generation of the Tabi'in, the successors. We don't
yeah,
we know about their opinions in the books of hadith like Musannaf Abdul Razzaq of
exactly.
yeah,
So because we know the
Musannaf
books
ibn
of
Abi Shayba.
hadith, because so what I'm saying here is actually that the books of hadith
Mm,
were there, and therefore the jurisprudence school were created.
mm, mm,
And fourth is about Quran itself. Anyone
mm,
reading the Quran knows that Quran includes in those fragments event-oriented verses. For example, he speaks about Badr, about Uhud, about whatever is happening in the time of the for the Prophet ﷺ. It contains all the modified stories of Old and New Testament. It
mm,
doesn't
mm.
contain the same stories of the Old and New Testament. It contains modified. This is also a fact.
And even
No one can tell
I
me.
would like to add a
No one
further
can show me. No one can show me where in the Bible or in the Old Testament Jesus spoke when he was a baby.
and in
Yeah?
modern in the modern academia they recognize this point that the Quran has never quoted a full quote or a sentence from
Exactly.
the New Testament
Exactly.
on.
Yeah, so it had its own modified, and then the cognitive relative versus as we the natural phenomena we are going to speak about.
Mm,
Now, if we have only those four facts, imagine we have only four facts, very simple facts, which will you. I would say this is a consensus of everyone, Muslim or not Muslim.
mm,
They can, if it is not the consensus, they can easily accept this.
mm,
First of all, the early Quranic manuscripts are the Quran came really in the around the same time where
mm.
it is said in the time of Muhammad والسلام, not in the Abbasid and not before that in the
And
with the Romans in Damascus, or
some
I don't
German
know.
Orientalists claim that Abdul Malik ibn Marwan wrote it, and then with
Yeah,
the Hajjaj
but
ibn
this is what
Yusuf.
I'm. Some don't say. Please say genocidal. These
Mm,
are not scientists. I hate it too. If just because he's German, I will not say that he's scientist. Yeah,
mm, mm,
he's a
mm,
genocidal maniac. Yeah,
mm.
and genocide is not only about killing people. It is also killing their culture and killing
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
civilization.
I think Joseph Lombard wrote about it. The
So in any so anyhow,
episteme
let's not go into, yeah, Ahmed. You see, this is exactly my point, Ahmed. We are going into the detail.
Mm, mm,
They want us to go into the detail. Let's keep the big picture here. Yeah,
mm,
what is the big picture? Consensus of everybody, approximately everybody, is that Quran came in the time which it was said. Golden age of Islamic civilization, where the translation began, was the Abbasid, not the Umayyad, but the Abbasid.
mm,
Jurisprudence schools were created before this golden age,
mm,
and then the Quran includes all those things. Now, if I want to make a materialistic model, remember, I'm now in their shoes.
mm,
I want to make a materialistic model.
mm.
There are possible. How much time do we have now?
Still, we have 9 minutes.
9 minutes. We can get to the next slide.
Mm,
There are possible creation criteria leading to hypothesis.
mm,
Either the author was a guy,
mm,
yeah, the authorship is either single or multiple. Either it was one guy who wrote the Quran or multiple authors. The literacy is not only in Arabic. Now, the problem with Quran now, because of the translation issue, yeah, we need to say that he or the committee which wrote the Quran, whoever you call author, they need to be literate not only in Arabic, because from where they will get all this information.
Yeah,
And something,
of the Old Testament and the New Testament, and
at least,
there
but
were
we are
no
going to.
translations in Arabic of these.
Yes, exactly.
Literature.
So they need to be literate not only in Arabic, and the time. Now the time is important, either before or after the Golden Age. Yeah, either before the Golden Age or after the Golden Age. I'm not speaking here before the revelation itself, because it's absurd. Because there is no evidence for this type of garbage. Where I cannot say the Arabs before Muhammad, they were good mathematicians without getting shouted at. Yeah, like some idiots say, like genocidal maniacs, Western genocidal maniacs say about our history. Yeah, so I'm putting here just before or after the Golden Age. The Golden Age. So there was Quran. Maybe after Quran. After the time it is revealed, it was continued. Maybe it started, as per this hypothesis, it started with Muhammad and then some people added, or it was done all together in the Golden Age. So these are, if you count here, 2 times 2 times 2, so we have here 8 different models. I will take from these 8 different models, 8 possible models. For example, a single author which was had literacy in Arabic but not in other languages, and he did it before the Golden Age. This is one model. Yeah, I will take only one. Of course, I'm saying that all these possibilities, all the 8 possibilities, will lead you to contradiction. I'm saying that all these will lead you to contradiction. We will take only one of these possibilities, yeah? And we will take, now I will investigate here very specifically the natural phenomena, yeah? Now you find in Surah I am taking here 2 places in Quran to be subject of content investigation. So I took content investigation. In my mind, I'm taking the model where Muhammad, peace be upon him, والسلام, was a literate author. Let's assume that Muhammad even knew والسلام, other languages. Yeah? But he is the only one who wrote it. Yeah? In this model, he is the only one who wrote it. There could be another model where he was with a committee of people and so on. But now he is the one, a literate author in our investigation here. There are 2 verses here which I'm taking out of the 51 verses, or 2 places, let us say, from the 51 places. وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا, this famous verse in Surah Al-Kahf, and they remained in their cave for 300 years and exceeded by 9. And there are the very unique inheritance laws which are in the 4 verses, only 4 verses provide Muslims in the Quran with their inheritance laws. And both of them refer to mathematical knowledge, both of them. So this, we will see this, I think, in the next video, because time is now up. We will see how both of those places in the Quran require very deep mathematical knowledge. So that was all for now. Yeah.
So, but we can. I think we have 4 minutes. We can discuss this verse, at least the first one, of Surah Al-Kahf. وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سنين.
Okay, good. If we have still some time,
we can explain this.
Okay, I think we can explain it very quickly. So it is known that one Gregorian year, if you want to convert Gregorian year to lunar year, it is one Gregorian year, the year, the number of days in which the Earth rotates around the sun is equal to 1.03068 lunar year. So 1 Gregorian year is equal to 1.03. This makes 300 solar years 309.2, as is mentioned here in the verse, actually. Now, to know this, if you make the calculation, if you go behind the calculation, you will find that you need to know that the Earth takes 365 days around the sun, not 366 like the Romans knew. So the Romans are excluded. He couldn't have taken this from the Romans because the Romans, they knew that they said even that it is 366 days. Yeah? And if you take the calculation, it will make 310 lunar years, not 309. So he didn't, the author of Quran couldn't have taken this from Romans. And Romans were, of course, the current culture at the time of the Arabs.
And they inherited the Greek or the Hellenistic.
Now, when was this known? Of course, it was known before. But in ancient Egypt, it was known, and it was recently discovered, of course, because hieroglyphic was not known to be a language at all, except in our age. And in ancient Babylon, and in ancient Greek, and in ancient India. But not before the golden age of Islamic civilization. So here we have again the problem with translation. How can he have translated this specific mathematical calculation? How can whoever, of course, we are now in the model where Muhammad ﷺ is literate, a genius even. How can he have, he should have translated this from the,
and there is no proof.
He should have translated it. Yeah. So the problem, actually, but we know that the translation began in the Abbasid after the Golden Age. So
after two, approximately after 2 centuries after the.
Yeah. So the problem is nothing in the Quran could have been written during the Golden Age. Of course, during the Golden Age, nothing could have been written because before that there were 100 years of Quran. You cannot write something and add it to Quran. I mean, it's because Quran is not only a book on the shelf. The people know Quran. They will
recite it.
And they were quarreling about Hadith. So how can they quarrel about Hadith when Quran was not written?
Exactly.
You need to be really lunatic to think this.
Okay. I think we have to stop.
Not only because F1 we
have to stop here because the time is running out. And thank you so much. And we will go deeper in such interesting topics. Thank you very much, Dr. Elnasser, and see you soon in the next episode.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.